And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the best doggone podcast in the land. I am Ethan, along with my co-host Heather. Heather, how are you tonight?
I think I'm okay. I think I'm good.
Do you find that you often have to think about how you're doing?
Yes.
Someone asks you, and you can give just a normal, I'm okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, what kind of day did I have? Do you really want an honest answer, or do you want me to give the PC? I'm good.
There is a fine line between
There is.
telling someone what's really going on and then putting on a brave face, as it were. And, I find that there was a story of a person that in a legal case I was working on, and the woman apparently was very stressed out, but she said that she was at stroke status and told us not to send her any more letters because she was at stroke status.
I'm going to start using that. I am at stroke status. Please leave me alone.
Do not call. Do not send me any more letters. I am at stroke status. And hello.
It's Doreen. It's our friend Doreen. Hi, Doreen. We love you.
Thank you for joining in. Really appreciate it. Best doggone podcast in the land. We are part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, folks, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow us. Scrolling across the bottom there is the YouTube address. Like, subscribe. We really would love to have that. And check out all the other fine programs on the Fanatical Elves Network as well. And you can find all the details as well also under our personal Twitter accounts, as well as the Twitter account for the show at TBDGPITL.
Like the best damn band in the land. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but when you're explaining the Ohio State band, that is the only way you can describe them. So
it is.
We get in trouble for that. It's okay. So be it. I'll take the hit.
No, I think we're all right. I don't think that's on. Let's see.
That is not on the list of banned words.
No, it is not. It did not make the list there. Wow. So, Heather, it is. It's Wednesday of a short week, right?
It's a short work week. It's not a short sports week. That's
no,
for sure.
No, it is absolutely not. I mean, the hot topic today, Heather. The hot topic today is this.
We talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that?
It's so silly. We should not be. Let's first shout out Brad. Brad joined us. Hi, Brad. I took your comment off really too fast. So hi, Brad. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And I mean, let's get into it quickly because I don't want to spend a ton of time dwelling on this because it's silly.
It is. It absolutely is silly.
So let's enlighten everyone what we're talking about here because we know what we're talking about and everyone else is like, you're insane. So if you're new to us, we are insane. So
yes, we are.
The big story today is that Myles Garrett is in Japan and he's not at voluntary OTAs. He's not at voluntary practices. And I can tell you that there's obviously, I don't follow every team's Twitter accounts, right? I don't get all of them. So I'm sure this is going on with every single NFL team where someone is mad because some star player isn't doing their practices. But it is Myles Garrett. It is the reigning defensive MVP. He is the best defensive player in the NFL. As voted on, you can make the argument for TJ Watt, but if TJ Watt didn't do practice, I wouldn't say a word.
But you know what? He didn't show up to.
Okay. So because Myles Garrett pulled that stunt with wanting traded and then signing the big extension, and now he's in Japan. He doesn't have to be at practice. He has earned that right. The man is still a physical specimen. I'm sure that missing these voluntary practices isn't going to derail his career.
Right. And furthermore, the first and foremost, actually, not even furthermore, voluntary. Do we need to get out Webster's dictionary and define voluntary?
Right.
Look, this is an agreement between the players' union and the owners as part of the collective bargaining agreement. And they have all agreed upon this. So whether you like it or not, this is the player's right not to be there. Okay.
Correct.
So
correct.
Cut the crap.
Well, and he's not the only one that's not there.
Just for the Browns. The Browns alone.
Right. My man, Greg Newsome, isn't there. Like he's not making headlines because he didn't throw a big fit about wanting to play for the Browns this year. That's like Brad said, people just want to create a story, and they do. They want to create a story. Now, would we be having a different conversation if a Shedeur Sanders or a Dylan, Dylan didn't show up? Yes, we would absolutely be having a different conversation. They're rookies. They have never seen a snap in the NFL. They have a whole lot more to prove than a Myles Garrett or even a Greg Newsome. Love him, like him or not, whatever. He has put his time in. He knows the schemes. He knows how to play in the NFL. Your rookies don't. Some of your sophomores, your second-year players, your third-year players who are trying to get meaningful time, they are the ones that need to be there.
Right. And to further that point, yes, the rookies have to learn everything, right? The veterans, such as for example, the Browns, Myles Garrett, it's the same defense. It's the same defensive coordinator. They've been there. They can do that. Yeah. Would we like it? Sure. But it's not pertinent. And again, it is voluntary. Hey, Heather, the minimum is 15 pieces of flair.
They're going to quit that TGI Fridays job if we keep
and they might get the double bird if it look. If you
want, then they're going to go out and they're going to take the copy machine and they're going to beat it into oblivion, and then they're going to burn the office down. Okay,
yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking was going to happen in Berea.
Burn it down. Burn it down. Hey, we're building a new dome anyway. Burn it down.
Yes, I do like that. No, it's absolutely crazy, guys. If this is the biggest deal in our lives, it's really nothing. And the fact that it's been blown so out of proportion, and the people who get targeted for it and made the biggest story of it's mind-boggling. It's
we have other things I promise you, there are other things to talk about in the NFL right now. I promise you this.
Oh, yes, there are. I mean, Terry Bradshaw had a lot to say.
Yeah, let's talk about Terry Bradshaw and what he said. So the Steelers are still kind of in a reckoning right now with who is their quarterback. Who will their quarterback be? Really, they really are. Okay, so there's still talk about Aaron Rodgers coming to Cleveland. And even why don't you enlighten us about what Terry Bradshaw, or to Pittsburgh? Why don't you enlighten us what Terry Bradshaw said about Aaron Rodgers?
I know you've got the quotes there.
I actually have the quote.
All right. So, I'll give the overview, the Cliff's Note version. The kids know what Cliff's Notes are. Do they know what Spark Notes are? Because I don't think they do. I think I showed them.
I always say give me the Cliff's Notes version.
Okay. Well, the bottom line
they have Wiki. They have Wikipedia now.
Oh, yeah.
We'll give you the Wikipedia. We'll give you the Wikipedia breakdown.
Right. Or they can go Chat GPT.
Yes.
That's the new age thing. But the bottom line is basically Bradshaw doesn't see Rodgers in that high of a regard and says it's a joke about him coming to Pittsburgh. He kind of is like, this isn't very professional. Then he also says that he felt that Pittsburgh did Kenny Pickett wrong when it came to the system he was in. So that's the 40,000 foot view of what he had to say. But I know you've got the quotes there, Heather.
Yes. So here are the direct quotes. The first one's my favorite one. So Bradshaw, when he was asked about Aaron Rodgers, he said, "That's a joke. That is just a joke. That is just, to me, a joke. What are you going to do? Bring him on for 1 year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California, go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there." I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong about Aaron. We can get to that in a second. Then he said, "I liked Kenny Pickett. I liked him at Pitt. I know him. I know what he's like. And when they got him to Pittsburgh, here's what they didn't do. They didn't protect him. They didn't get him an offensive line. They wanted him to run the football, but they didn't have an offensive line that could protect. And they didn't have weapons. He had no wide receivers to speak of. And you don't throw a kid in there for 2 years and you've got no offense that doesn't fit and you've got an offense that doesn't fit and doesn't work, and they can't run because their offensive line's not even good enough for a run blocking team. And therefore they say Pickett was a failure. He wasn't a failure. The Steelers were a failure.
That's blistering commentary.
That is blistering, especially from Terry Bradshaw, because you cannot be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan and not be a Terry Bradshaw fan because of what he's done for the organization.
Yeah.
And now maybe that's changed, but Bradshaw is spitting truth. Yes, I understand that the Steelers have gone to the playoffs, but what have they done in the playoffs? You know, Tomlin right now is one of those coaches that he's a phenomenal coach. He's going to coach to the talent that he has. He's not going to coach to his scheme. But at some point, you have to, like he said, if you don't have an offensive line, Cleveland, what are you going to do? So I'm not sure if Pickett's going to fare any better in Cleveland, but he was set up to fail in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I think so. In part.
Yeah, Dorian, the Steelers haven't done anything. They really, truly haven't done anything. They've done nothing more than all of the other teams that have been watching it from their couch after the first round.
No, you're absolutely right. So first of all, I want to see here. So thanks, of course, for everybody to tuning in and commenting here. You know, talk about Bradshaw. It's like us with Kozar or Sight.
Yeah.
You know, these are guys, you know, who we regard highly, even though, frankly, I mean, Kozar didn't win 4 Super Bowls, such as Bradshaw, but of course he was complimentary.
No, but Terry Bradshaw also was a mediocre quarterback with a phenomenal, talent around him. All he had to do was they had the defense, and all he had to do was throw the ball up in the air, and someone was going to get it. So Bradshaw was fortunate enough to be on a team that had incredible talent around him, but that's what the Steelers had been known for.
Right,
Look
exactly.
at Roethlisberger was an okay quarterback. He was a good quarterback. No one is saying that, but you put Roethlisberger on like a Browns, and what was he going to do? The Steelers have always drafted around their players. They built their team. They didn't build superstars. They built a team, and they're not doing that anymore.
Right. I mean, they really got fortunate to fall into to Ben Roethlisberger because the Browns were morons. And what do we take? Kellen Winslow?
Oh boy, how'd that work out for us? But yeah, yes, I forgot about Lynn Swann. I mean, seriously. Franco Harris, yeah. These names, but that's what, you know, by themselves, they're not superstars. They're really good, but by themselves, they're not going to be superstars. Surrounded by a team where they can shine and do what they do best. That's what the Steelers have just been known for. And I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do this year. And yeah, I it really made me sick that Will and Jack are Steelers now, because I think that they're going to flourish. And I did a podcast the day of the draft where when Will Howard was drafted. And they said, where do you think Will is going to end up? And I said, unfortunately, I think that the best fit for him is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very good for him. We'll see what happens. So first of all, I just wanted to go back real quick on the point about Pickett. I think he's got limitations.
Oh, serious limitations.
And so I'm not fully right. Exactly. I think my mitts are pretty close.
My mitts are bigger.
I think so. No, if he had ample opportunity there, I understand. And actually, I think
he had some limited success.
He went 15-10 as a starter. I looked at his stats, but they weren't great. It wasn't great. I started looking at the number of touchdowns, the number of interceptions, the yardage. I read some stuff that his best success was making plays out of nothing.
Well, right.
And so we'll see. Best of luck to him. But so the Steelers, they've got a problem. We've talked about this. I'm sure we've talked about it before, where the fact that they're winning in spite of or despite the quarterback play is kind of detrimental because they're not bad enough to be at the top of the draft.
I agree. Now, they did very well this draft, I think. I think that they drafted phenomenally well. They do tend to draft well with the position that they're in. But yes, you're right. They do. Tomlin is a very, very good coach. Love him or hate him. of course I don't love that we have to go up against him twice a year and fight that division, but he is a very good coach. So they're never going to be in the top picking. They're just not.
No, I mean, although this Aaron Rodgers thing might burn that thing to the ground. I don't know. It's quite possible. I wouldn't be upset either. Can we go back to the Bubby Brister days? They were pretty terrible back then.
Bubby Brister. Who was it? Cordell Stewart? Cordell Stewart.
But he was respectable. Cordell Stewart
he was but no one liked him. Even Steelers fans didn't even like him. Like no one loved him, I should say.
No, because he was Slash.
Yes.
Slash.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was kind of a crazy transition time there. You went from, I believe it went from, did it go Stewart, then O'Donnell? I think O'Donnell, then Stewart.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. No.
Oh, remember when Neil O'Donnell handed a Super Bowl to the Cowboys?
My God, I forgot about all of this. See, this is the kind of stuff though that you block out of your memory because I don't care about the Steelers. The only thing I remember about the Steelers is when Santonio Holmes caught that touchdown pass in the Super Bowl because it won my block. I won my fourth quarter. So I remember that one.
No, it's crazy. So to get at the end of the day, the commentary from Terry Bradshaw was quite telling.
Surprising. Yeah, it was, and it was surprising that it was so venomous. And he said it with his chest, man. He said it.
Blunt.
Yes.
It was very blunt. What did Mike say here? As long as they don't end up being so bad in 2026 that they end up picking Jeremiah Smith, I think my heart would be broken if they ended up
if they had Will Howard and Jack Sawyer and Jeremiah Smith. Oh man, I will not check on me. I will not be okay. I will not be okay because you're taking all of my favorite guys.
Well, we're just going to have to. Yeah, I heard some clown. Okay. Do you listen to Jim Rome at all?
No.
You don't. Did you ever?
No. I used to listen to Jim Rome is Burning, and I used to want to set him on. I just want to burn him. I can't say that. I can't say what. I'll get us banned.
But he used to have this saying, more of me, less of you. Well, was kind of his motto. He
believed that. He believes that.
Right. He didn't do a lot of callers. So I hear people and I feel like we're not, we do have a podcast. So, we're pretty awesome. But I hear
and we obviously know what we're talking about, or we wouldn't have a podcast.
Exactly. And I heard someone talking about I think the Browns should trade a second rounder, a first rounder to get Chris Olave. Are you on crack? Are you doing the crack with Stephon Diggs on the boat? The pink stuff?
Was that crack or was that purple cocaine? We don't know. We don't know. Maybe it was purple meth.
It was pink stuff.
Pink. I'm sorry, pink. Maybe it was pink meth. I don't know.
I don't know, but I hear these things. So although I would like Chris Olave on the Browns if they could pick him up as an extra wide receiver.
We got Quinshon Judkins. You know how happy I was?
Hey.
I said cancel the rest of the draft. We don't need anybody else.
We don't. And Fannin.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a pickup, right? Now, we're rehashing the draft, and I know that it's over. But okay, but we've talked about this before. I know we've got a lot to talk about today, but how amazing is NFL marketing? Is the NFL how they covertly market themselves? Because there is not a month in the year that you do not talk about them. So you obviously talk about January because the Super Bowl's coming and then everything is over. February, you start talking about them because free agency, and then you're starting to prepare for the draft. March, now you're really talking about the draft. Who's going to get picked up? After April, you have the draft, then now you have training camp. Now you have OTAs. We're talking about who's not showing up to voluntary practices. So there is something in every single month of the year with the NFL. And it's fascinating to me how it truly is the only sport out there that is really like that.
Year round, the marketing department over there is genius. You may not like it, but
right.
Look, the schedule.
Here we are.
The schedule announcement.
Yes.
They leak games throughout the week. They tease this. They tease that.
Yes.
It's unreal. Absolutely
and people
unreal.
are watching for a schedule release, like we're all like, okay, who is it? You know, and we already know who our opponents are because they release who the opponents are, but you don't know what week they're playing, you don't know what time they're playing, and still you don't know what time some of them are playing because it's TBA or it's you know, subject to change because the records they could flex them to Sunday nights or whatever. And to those of you who were complaining about the Browns not getting any primetime games, pay attention. Did we deserve primetime games? We really only deserve 1:00 games. Okay. So
quite frankly, I'm going to say this, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. We deserve Spiro Ditas and Adam Fart Chuleta.
That's what we deserve. So
yeah, quite frankly, that's what we deserve. All right. Well, with that, let's take a quick time out. And when we come back, let us talk about the upcoming women's softball World Series.
Yes, you guys are going to be forced. You guys are going to be forced.
Hey, it's good stuff. We're going to take a time out. You are tuned in to the best doggone podcast in the land here on the Fanatical Elves Network. Now that we've had a word from our sponsors, welcome back to the best doggone podcast in the land. I am Ethan, and alongside of me is Heather here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a part of Fans First Sports Network. Okay, moving forward, Heather, this is in your wheelhouse.
This is in my wheelhouse. This is the best weekend of the year. It's the saddest weekend of the year for me because this is the last weekend for college softball until we start a new season next year. And we played, or, you know, we got to watch hundreds and hundreds of games leading up to this. And we are finally here. The road to Oklahoma City, the Women's College Softball World Series has been announced, and we have our 8 teams. So we have Florida versus Texas. We have Tennessee versus Oklahoma. We have Texas Tech versus Ole Miss, and we have Oregon versus UCLA. And there were some shockers in there. So
what were you out of this 8 that came out of the Super Regionals? My biggest shocker, I guess, would be Ole Miss.
Yes, Ole Miss was by far the biggest shocker. The biggest shock to me was A&M getting knocked out in the regionals.
Right, by Liberty.
Yes, by Liberty. Yeah, and Liberty actually held their own. I mean, they held their own. They did what they should have done in the first round. They held their own, but obviously they weren't nearly good enough. But yeah, Ole Miss is definitely the shock. Now, having said that, I will say, as much as it pains me to say this, the SEC is far and away, hands down, not even a close second, the best conference in softball. It's not a debate. It's not like, oh, the Big Ten in football versus the SEC. It's not like that at all. So you have Tennessee, you have Oklahoma, you have Ole Miss, and I think, is it Texas Tech? Are they in that? Yes. Or I'm sorry, Florida.
It's Texas. So in the one group, you've got 3 out of the 4 teams. So there are 2 brackets, as you said. So there's bracket 1, which is Florida versus Texas, Tennessee, Oklahoma. So 3 of 4 are SEC teams.
4. Isn't Texas in the SEC? Oklahoma's in the SEC now.
I thought Oklahoma was still in the Big 12.
They are not.
So
they are not. All 4. All 4, yeah. Oklahoma is now in the SEC.
That's how much of a mess the NCAA is.
I know. They're a disaster. Yeah, well, this is the first year for it, so this is the first year.
Okay, thank you. I'll take that as a, I'll take that as
yeah. This is the first year. So yes, in bracket 1, it's all 4 SEC teams. Oregon and UCLA are 2 Big Ten teams. Now they would normally Pac-12, right? So the only reason they're Big Ten teams is because, again, this is the first year. So again, it's an SEC versus Big Ten. So you have these super conferences that are infiltrating other sports, not just football. I will tell you, I will be shocked if it's not an SEC team that wins the whole thing again. It's the level of talent is you have. Now, don't get me wrong. Oregon is good. Texas Tech will be okay. Ole Miss is okay. UCLA, I think, will be the only team that might have a chance to get to the final game this year. So Texas Tech. I'll go ahead and I'll give my little breakdown because this is
please do.
So Texas Tech has Nigeri Kennedy. Nigeri Kennedy she's a power pitcher. She transferred over from Stanford. What a grab for Texas Tech. Like, no one saw that coming. She put them on the map.
0.89 ERA. 0.89 ERA.
Yeah. Now, the only thing with Nigeri is that she has given up some home runs this year. Out of all of the starting pitchers in the World Series right now, Nigeri has given up the most home runs. So she is susceptible to the long ball. So she can throw up some grapefruits. Now, Texas Tech, their problem is going to be their hitting. Their hitting is okay. They don't hit for power. They sometimes struggle with the fundamentals. So Nigeri is going to have to be perfect in order for Texas Tech to have a chance. And now you're getting into the elite teams. So that's where it could get a little bit hazy for them.
Right. I mean, they're pretty evenly matched up. I'm looking here.
They are. Well, because they're playing Ole Miss. So Ole Miss, their strength is their hitting. Now, Ole Miss doesn't hit for power really either, but Ole Miss they do all of the things right. They can hit for power, but they can also hit they play the small ball sometimes when they have to, which against Nigeri Kennedy, I think that's going to be important. Now, Ole Miss has they struggle with their fielding. Their fielding can be abysmal. They can make error after error after error, and you can't do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the two pitchers match up because they're very, very well matched. So now, this one could be a close one.
Now, we do have a good question here. Mike from across the pond, our buddy Mike in the UK. These are not straight. First of all, it's not a series, but it's not a straight knockout. It's double elimination. It's double elimination, and then
double elimination, and then they do a 3-game series once they get
to the bracket team. 1 and bracket 2. They do a 3-game series.
Yes. So everybody plays on Thursdays. The losers play on Friday for the elimination game, and then the winners of the elimination Friday play the winners of Thursday's games. And then it keeps going until you have someone that's lost 2 games.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's I'm kind of surprised maybe a little bit. They've got it spread out so much. I mean,
they had to do that. They didn't used to, but they had to do that because it was 3 years ago. I think it was the most insane thing. It was 3 or 4 years ago. Every single game was played. Every single team lost 1 game at least. Every team.
Wow.
And then they had some severe weather that was going through, and they didn't really have a great plan on how to play those weather delays because every single game had to be played. So teams were playing 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and then they would have to turn around and get up. Yeah. So that's why they changed the format. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. They changed that format. So they spaced the games out big time so that they leave themselves room. They can move the games up or they can play them later.
Right. So do you think that, I don't know how much home field advantage or crowds help. Do you think Oklahoma has a bit of an advantage?
They have a huge advantage. They have a huge advantage. Yes, it's in Oklahoma City. They have a huge advantage. When Oklahoma is playing, even if they're not the home team, they've got a massive advantage because they had to add 5,000 seats to that stadium because of the attendance. Softball is life out there. So there are a lot of fans out there. It's a hard ticket to get. It's an expensive ticket to get out there. And wow. if just to put it into perspective too, I hope you guys all got your hotel rooms early because if Oklahoma City closes it out tonight, they're going to be playing the NBA Finals the same. If everybody.
Oh my goodness, that's right.
Because the game goes all the way into next week. The World Series goes into next week.
Yeah, I think that regardless, so the NBA Finals will start June 5th, regardless of when Oklahoma City closes out, because they will. Because they are going to, the NBA Finals will start on June 5th, and that will be a home game for Oklahoma City. Yes. And you're right, Game 2 of the 3-game World Series final will be June 5th. And you're right, that will be on the same night.
Yep.
The only good thing I will say about this is when you're putting it up against an event like the NBA Finals, is it's not like the Super Bowl, which is one night and one night only.
Right.
And also, you're talking about a capacity of only like an arena, maybe 20,000.
Yeah. And you have two completely different audiences. And my guess is that they will change the game time to move it up just a little bit, because they have done that in the past too. They've moved up the game times for this. So Mike, Oklahoma is the highest remaining seed. They're the number 2 seed. And so it's not one game per matchup. You could end up playing the same on Sunday. You could end up playing the same team that you played in the first round. So
right.
it's just how the losses and the wins end up falling. So yes, you could end up playing a team multiple times.
Right. So for example, just to kind of break it down here, folks. So as you mentioned, Heather, in the bracket 1, you've got Florida versus Texas, and then Tennessee versus Oklahoma.
Which is going to be Tennessee versus Oklahoma is going to be the game.
That is going to be a great matchup.
Yeah.
The two teams, they met. Oklahoma took 2 of the 3 when the teams met in Norman back in March. So the winners will move on and face each other in a game. The losers will face those 2 games will face off. The loser of that loser matchup is done.
Yes.
The winner goes on. They'll face the winner or the loser of the winner's game. It's a whole thing here.
Yeah. So you want to so Friday or Thursday, everybody plays. Friday, the losers of Thursday play.
Yes.
Saturday, the winners of the loser game and the winners of the winner game play. So it's this whole thing. And watch on Saturday, because one of the games will be televised on ABC. They always televise a game.
Well, actually, I got good news for you. So they are all on. So the bracket 1, noon Eastern on the 29th. So tomorrow.
Yes.
ESPN.
Yeah, they're on ESPN or ABC.
Right. And then 2:30 ESPN or ABC. And then tomorrow night, 7:00 and 9:30 on The Deuce on ESPN 2. And then, as you said, moving forward, May 31st, June 1st, ESPN, ABC. This is going to be fantastic, Heather.
It is. It's fantastic. And you have some of the most talented. So this year, pitching is down. Pitching is down in some areas, but you still have. So the Tennessee-Oklahoma game is going to be the one that everybody needs to really pay attention to, because Oklahoma is 4 times. They've won the national championship 4 years in a row. They are insane, but they've lost a lot of players. They have a real severe drop-off in pitching this year. Now they have a lot of power. They can hit for a lot of power. They still have their home run capability. However, Tennessee has really found their groove. They have Carlin Pickens. She's a sophomore. She is unbelievable. She broke a record this year earlier for 78 point something. I think it was like 78.6 miles an hour. On Sunday, when they were playing in game 3, 79.4 miles per hour. That was her fastball. So Carlin she just blazes it by you, and she's got a great rise ball. Now, Oklahoma, I would bet my life that they're going to start Sam Landry. Sam Landry is their ace. Sam has struggled. She's never been to the World Series before, and she's got a tendency to throw up some grapefruits too. So, and Tennessee has some power. I think that Tennessee could win this one, but I could see Tennessee losing a game. I could see Tennessee losing in the next round as well, or in the next game as well. So I don't think that there's any team that is in this bracket that's going to be exceptional and phenomenal and unstoppable. The team to watch is Florida for me.
Okay.
They're going to be the team that I think is going to be quiet. They've been here before. They have Tim Walton. This is all he does. Is take his teams to the World Series. He's been the coach for 17 years, won a couple of national titles. Florida just has consistency. They have a great offense. Their pitching leaves a little bit to be desired, but Florida does all of the little things. They play defense. They bunt really well. They can hit. They slap. They've got speed. So Florida is going to be the team that I think could make some noise and could be the disruptor.
Yeah, I'm looking here. They say the projected pitching matchup might be Keegan Rothrock for Florida and Keegan Cavan for
Tegan Cavan.
It's Cavan. Okay, I got to get the emphasis on the right syllable.
Yes, you had the wrong syllable. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where Florida and Texas are both teams where they need to put up a lot of runs because they give up a lot of runs. Texas especially. Texas is known to give up massive leads, but they're also known to come back from massive deficits. I think it was Oklahoma versus Texas in the last series of the year. They were down, I think, 8 or 9 runs, and they came back within 1. So Texas can score in a hurry. That's going to be a fun, exciting game, but I think that the game with the most implications is going to be that Tennessee-Oklahoma game. Oregon, UCLA, they've faced each other a lot. UCLA has a veteran coaching staff, but they have a very young team. UCLA, you want to talk about consistency. They do all of the things that you're supposed to do, but they're slow. They don't have the speed. They're not going to be your slappers. They're not going to bunt for singles. They are slow play. Now, Oregon, they've got a ton of depth at every position, especially at pitching. They can put 2, 3, 4 different pitchers in and they're just fine. Their problem is they're very impatient at the plate. They strike out a lot. You're going to see them swinging at a lot of first pitches, at a lot of balls. So they get very impatient. So I am so excited to see this one this year because of the variety of the teams. I know they're all from the SEC, but they all do something a little different.
Yeah, I mean, so it could ultimately be I know people will be pissed off, but it could be a Big Ten SEC final. I mean, it's going to be SEC on one side for sure, and it sure is looking like it. There's a likelihood of the Big Ten. And you, in fact, were correct. In the game at Oklahoma, Texas was down 8-0.
Yeah.
After 3 innings, they tied it up.
Yeah.
With 6 in
and
the
then
fourth,
Oklahoma ends up winning it. Yeah.
They scored 1 in the bottom of the 6th and closed it out in the 7th. But yeah, wow, this is going to be very, very interesting. I thought about it. Why is it that in professional baseball or college baseball, they don't adopt the slap hit?
I don't know. That's a really good question because the slap works. It's almost like a tomahawk, and maybe because
a left-hander doing that down.
They do left-handed players, and the coach of Arizona, Caitlin Lowe, she's actually the one that really kind of made it famous. Slap hitting wasn't a thing really until Caitlin Lowe came on. And I have been watching softball for a long time. That should just tell you. This is like, I love football. I love my Cavs. I love all that stuff. But softball is my jam. Like, I'm so passionate about this. And I love it because it's getting national attention. They had to add thousands of seats to the stadium to get enough, to get more people in there. And I'll have to look up the stat, but it is something like 10 times more viewers watch the softball World Series than they do watch baseball. So the numbers are astronomically different. So it's just so exciting to me to see these girls get so much love because they're so talented. They're so talented.
And I think this is really at the pinnacle of their game. Whereas you look at the players, the people playing baseball, and they get lost in the minor leagues and you never hear of them because there's like a 50-round draft or something. And you're like, who's that guy? What happened?
Right. What's going on here?
So yes, I will let you address the mercy rule.
Yes, the mercy. So this is an interesting fact. The mercy rule does exist except in the actual World Series. So when the final 2 teams are playing each other for the 3 games, that's when the mercy rule goes away because they just assume that anybody can come back from anything. So they're going to let them play. And I've only seen a couple of games where you're like, oh God, they need the mercy rule, like please. But it generally doesn't happen that way.
Right. And Oklahoma has been just beating up on their opponents lately. I mean,
yeah, they have. They've found
and
their bats. They have really found their bats. But you also have to look at the quality of the opponents that they've been playing lately too. So it's going to be, this is where they're going to have to show out. And this is where their inexperience is going to come into play, because they are a very, very young team. They are a very young team.
So, all right. So let's see. So the World Series, the softball World Series finishes up on Wednesday, the 4th. Wednesday, the 4th, 5th. So possibly as far out as the 6th. So we're going to have to monitor that. And
yes,
what's your pickup? So I know you've kind of said it, but let's go out on the line here. Put it on the line. Who you taking?
Florida. Okay. This is who I think. Florida and UCLA.
Okay. That's who you think is going to be in the final. All right.
Who I want is Tennessee and UCLA. So interesting fun fact about me. Obviously, I'm a Buckeye. I love my Buckeyes. But outside of Ohio State, my 3 favorite teams are Oklahoma, Tennessee, and UCLA, because I love their coaches. I am absolutely in love and awe of their coaches. Karen Weekly has coached Tennessee for over 20 years. Patty Gasso coaches Oklahoma. She is she is the greatest coach to ever coach softball. And Kelly Inoue Perez coaches UCLA. Her assistant is Lisa Fernandez. Lisa Fernandez is arguably one of the best pitchers to ever pitch in the game. She's an Olympian. She is a national champion. And Kelly Inoue Perez played for UCLA too. So I love the coaches. So Tennessee is who I'm rooting for, but I think it's going to be Florida.
That was a mouthful. That was a mouthful, Heather.
I like softball. You get me on this tangent, and softball's almost over, you guys, so you're not going to have to hear about it for another year.
No, okay. So I want to switch sports here, but a quick question.
Let's switch. Yeah.
Let's move on. Okay. Thank you, of course, for all the analysis here, because it's great. It really is exciting. And I know that I may have mentioned this. I saw that in Division III, where I do Randolph-Macon, I do basketball. Their softball team advanced to the World Series. They won in the Super Regionals, so they're going to the College World
Series. That's exciting.
So it's very exciting when they can do that. It's just amazing when you have pitchers who can pitch like every game, and they're going –
yeah, so do I, Mike. We've all been on the receiving end of that, wishing, my God, just when they're putting outfielders in to pitch for you, you're like,
oh my goodness, yeah, that is crazy. Okay, the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, that's going in full swing here.
I'm disenchanted. I'm enjoying the NHL playoffs just as much.
I haven't watched any of the NHL playoffs.
Yeah,
Columbus isn't in there. I don't know enough about hockey yet. It's exciting. I like it, and that's my goal for next year, is to get more into hockey and to go.
Well, you do love the Ohio State women's hockey, so
I love watching Ohio State women's hockey, and I love watching men's hockey too. Like, I love watching the Ohio State men's because they're pretty good. I mean, they're decent.
They won.
The women are dominant.
They recently won the national championship. So the Frozen.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the women were within seconds of winning. Oh, that was
I know. And the controversial call, was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? That was really exciting. So no, I like hockey, but I have been watching the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference finals, because it's better than being sour grapes, I guess. Like, I don't have to like it. I don't have to like the Eastern Conference finals, but I'm watching it still. And how about that game last night with Halliburton?
What? First of all, what is with these guys thinking they're fashion models? Okay.
Oh, I don't get that. I do not get that at all.
How are you going to come out wearing a little boy's suit?
I know, but what did I say about Miles Turner yesterday? That what he was wearing?
What did you say? You look like a fire hydrant?
What did I say? Hold on. Miles Turner. I cannot remember what I said, but I know I said
again, I believe it was something to the effect of he looks
No,
like
I said he looks like a gas station attendant.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like going.
He did. He looked like we're going to work at the gas station.
But when did it become this thing to
It's this whole thing. It's just like the NFL though.
Right,
I mean, they do a whole segment on what they're wearing now, and like, who cares?
Exactly. And it's like, which designer are you wearing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm wearing garbanzo beans.
Right. I'm wearing hefty. Like it's yes. Yeah. I saw that, Mike. He became the first player in the NBA to record a triple-double and no turnovers.
That was unreal.
He had 32, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds, I think it was. Or maybe it was the other way around. 15 rebounds, 10 assists.
We need to have a talk with the people who trashed this guy and called him the most underrated player.
I know, they woke a sleeping giant. Like, who said this about him? I don't understand who said this about him. But the Pacers, listen, I don't like the Pacers. Obviously, I don't like the Pacers. But I got to give them their credit. They are playing hard, and they are playing fast, and they're sustaining that pace consistently.
Yes, they are. But did we sleep on them?
I think we did. I honestly think that we did, because this is the same team that it has been. Like, they're not a different team. They were battling injuries throughout the end of the year. Like, this is the same team. So I genuinely think that we slept on them.
Yeah, we were so busy and focused, and everybody else too. Not when I say we, I mean we, the public. Everybody was focused outside of Indiana. Everyone was focused on the Cavs, the Celtics, and
it was the Cavs and the Celtics. That's exactly. Even the media, I think, even the national media, it was the Cavs and the Celtics. They had the best record. They had the best players. That's the Pacers don't have that superstar. They have that one or two players every night that are going to go out and they're going to do their job. And that's kind of the end of it. Is it going to be Obi? Is it going to be Miles? Is it going to be Hallie? Is it going to be like, it's so annoying. Like, go away.
It is. They are the midges that are coming off of
They are the midges. They are the midges that bothered Fausto Carmona and Jabba Chamberlain.
Yes, Jabba Chamberlain. Oh my God.
He was big mad. He was big mad about the midges, like they weren't bothering everyone.
Yeah, I'm a little bit frustrated that obviously the way things have come. So it appears that it's got the Thunder. They're going to close out the Timberwolves.
That game 2 was it? I'm sorry, game 3.
Right.
Game 3 beatdown was it 143 to 1-0 something 102 101.
101.
That was just a fluke. And honestly, I watched some. I didn't watch any of that game, but I did watch some of the replays, and it just looked like Oklahoma City said, you know what? We're getting curb stomped. We're getting the doors blown off of us. We're gonna put in all of our reserves. We're not gonna put in anybody to risk getting them hurt. And they just kind of like gave up.
Right. Well, look, you figure you've got a long series. It's not
right. We don't want to get anybody hurt. We don't want anybody to get tired. So
they waved the white flag.
They said we'll live to fight another day.
Exactly. So they didn't even get. They were like expecting, like a regular white collar prison, and they got sent to federal in the ass prison.
Correct. They did. No, I mean, that's honestly, I can't argue with you.
Yeah, it was
the best analogy ever.
Hey, man, if I could bring in, I know Brian was enjoying the Office Space references to start, so I had to bring that out and talk about that. I mean, heck, even Halliburton's pops, he is a very bad man. You're a bad man. And this clown, how are they going to let him back in the arena up in the suite?
Well, because nobody is talking about it now because the Pacers are winning. They're the sexy team right now, so no one's going to talk about it. So everyone is just going to kind of let that one go.
I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to yell about how you and I who ran on.
You're going to go nuclear about it.
I am. But don't you agree that if you or I, a regular Schmo, went onto the court and confronted a player or even went up to a player.
I love Isaac Okoro. It's no secret I love Isaac Okoro. If I walked on the court and said, Isaac, I'm wearing the same shoes that you are, they would have cuffed and stuffed me, and they would have banned me for life.
Yes.
Even though I just love him.
Exactly.
Just let me love you.
Right. You would have been charged with criminal trespassing.
Yes.
And
Stalking.
Yes.
Semantics.
Exactly. So it bugs the crap out of me that he's got some kind of special privilege.
Right. He gets a free
asshole.
But also his son has been the hero of the postseason. Really,
and he's also been the biggest. No,
I mean, we know he was placed away from the court. He was in the suite. I mean, we know that. Obviously, we know that. But I wouldn't have been allowed in the suite. I would have not been allowed in the arena. They wouldn't have let me. I would have had a restraining order. No, I would have had a protective order, and I couldn't have gotten within like 5,000 feet of the gun or whatever you want to call it, the Q or rocket or whatever. It's changed 412.
It has had a lot of different names.
Yeah,
it really, especially recently. So, okay, let's assume for this exercise, let's assume it's gonna be Oklahoma City.
It is going to be. My prediction is they both close it out. Yeah, I think that maybe the Knicks can find a little bit of magic one more game, but yes, Mike, I would have to relocate because I would get put in prison for stalking, and all I want to do is love him. That's neither here nor there. We're talking about the finals now.
Right, exactly. So.
I think it's going to be the Pacers and honestly, that's kind of a nightmare scenario for the NBA.
It really is. And so that was an interesting conversation where you get people who complain when it's only the large
same team, right? And then
you get people who complain when it's
the smaller market. I personally prefer the smaller markets.
Sure.
So if I had to choose the Knicks over the Pacers or the Pacers over the Knicks, I would probably choose the Pacers just because I don't want to see a bigger market team go. Do I want the Pacers to win? God, no. I'm a Thunder. Oklahoma. I will get Thunder tattooed just to prove I am not rooting for the Pacers to win the finals. Let me make that very, 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 very clear. Very clear. Like Thunder all the way, baby. But
yeah, I think the Thunder should take care of business. I'm not worried about it being a nightmare, but I will say this, Heather.
Mike, you watch your mouth. They're not. No.
The difference is when you talk about big markets, small markets, is in terms of, other than the media attention, in basketball and like the NFL, there's no disparity in the amount of spending.
I agree.
That's kind of, even though you're like, oh, I'm tired of this thing. But look at the NFL. Kansas City is not a major, they're a small market. Green Bay, small market. So it's more so I hate all the media coverage and that sort of thing. But I think
it's because it's the big city and it's the the attendance and like like Cleveland fans show out just as much, probably more than like Lakers fans. But it's LA. It's the Lakers, it's the history of it. So, and don't even get me started. I mean, we can do a whole segment on baseball because the Dodgers, who is going to beat a team like the Yankees or the Dodgers when they have, millions and millions and millions and millions more to spend?
Hundreds of millions. They've got, how many players on their team make more than the entire
payroll? Yes, exactly. So, yeah, it's just I'm talking about for viewers though, because it does seem to garner, these bigger markets tend to garner more viewers. And I don't know if it's just because the fair weather fans are out there a little bit more. Yeah, because you're not going to be a fair weather fan of a Cleveland Cavalier team or an Indiana Pacer team. Yeah. Maybe when LeBron was on the Cavs, you could be a little bit of a fair weather team. But like the Pacers, no one is going to be. New York, it's cool to say I'm a Knicks fan. You know what I mean? It's because
right, exactly. I mean, I will say I will be happy that I won't have to look at Celebrity Row.
I know.
Although they were talking. There would have been some very creative Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes with Larry David sitting next to Susie Essman. I think that was that in game 1 when they blew the game, or was that in whichever game they just choke jobbed it away. They thought of some very creative endings or creative episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm saved a guy from a murder rap. Did you know that? Little fun nugget. So this guy was at I think it was a Yankees game, and Curb Your Enthusiasm was actually filming at that game, and the guy was accused of murder, and he said, I was at the game, and they said, prove it, and he said, I can't. Here's my ticket, and they said, you could have just bought the ticket. You weren't at the game. So his attorney scanned. They got the footage from Curb Your Enthusiasm, and they scanned, and they were able to pick him out in the crowd, and he was able to get out of the murder because he proved that he was not at the Dodgers.
The Dodgers game. Okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So fun little fact: Curb Your Enthusiasm saved a guy from a murder rap.
I don't know.
He was there, so he couldn't have been at the scene of the crime as identified.
That is amazing. Who would have thought it? Larry David's a hero.
He is a hero. Yeah. They found him in the crowd. His attorney scanned. I know I digress, but.
No, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to the finals. It should be good. I'll definitely tune in. I'm rooting for OKC all the way.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for OKC. And OKC is such a complete team. They their identity is their defense, but I don't think we talk enough about their offense because they can shoot the hell out of the ball.
They sure can, and they have built the team the right way.
Yes, they have. They don't have that massive. Yes, they have, the star,
but they drafted him.
Right. They don't have that superstar that they brought over in a blockbuster deal, right? They developed their players. They quietly developed their players. They were like little assassins because all of a sudden we're like, who the hell is this team this year? Yes, Jalen Williams is not spoken enough about. And I guarantee you, if you ask anybody who is a fan or who is in that locker room, are they okay with that? They're all going to tell you yes. Keep disrespecting him and keep underestimating him because look what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, you get contributors all over the place. Alex Caruso plays his role. Lou Dort, Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, they all just play their role. And so
and you just said those names. And the casual fan says who?
Yeah, I know. But they also have they have 2 Jalen Williams.
Well, do they?
Yes, they actually have 2 Jalen Williamses. And there was the one game they sat players and the other Jalen Williams.
Jalen Williams is out. And you're like, okay, what do you, JW2?
Yes, something along those lines. Look, my spotlight or highlight, possibly one of them as a broadcaster, is doing a high school game. Where was I? In Strasburg out there, in Ohio, and they had 3 players on the court at the same time, all whose last name was Yoder.
Were you in a Berlin, Ohio, Millersburg?
I don't like I said,
country.
I think the team was Strasburg, but
there's a lot of Yankees in Ohio. Yeah. We got a heavy Amish population, and I'm not being disrespectful. That's what they're.
You do.
When you leave the religion, that's what they call it. You yank over to the English side. So
right now, there was one scary time I was driving home from Cleveland, Northeast Ohio to Virginia. There was some kind of an accident. It closed the highway. I think I was headed down 77. I ended up getting off the highway, and the way everything was sending me, I think I drove through Amish country. I'm on the back roads, dusty roads with some
no lights,
a horse and buggies. It was daytime, thankfully. So it was kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. It gets a little wild.
It does. Okay, so a couple of quick things. One, did you see the announcement, Heather, about College Football 26 coming out? The video game. And
I did. I saw the cover. I saw the announcement. I saw the hype on it.
Right. Are you at all concerned that there is a college football curse?
No. So I know that this is something that you had sent me and we talked about it. So who is yours has been on there?
So it had been gone for a decade or so. I think prior to it going away, I think what was it? Is it Denard Robinson? He was the quarterback at Michigan, was on the last cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then this past one,
Shouldn't have been, but
it was Travis Hunter, Quinn Ewers, and Donovan Edwards. Well, we know what Travis Hunter did, but Edwards didn't even get drafted. He ended up being
but Ewers started out the year strong. Ewers started out the year strong, and he started out. He didn't get hurt, so I don't think that it was. I think that Ewers just.
Okay, all right. He did fall all the way to like the 7th round or something.
He was just I think he was just overrated.
I
don't think he was cursed. He was just not that good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So all right. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. As long as it doesn't curse Jeremiah.
It's not cursing Jeremiah. Jeremiah is going to be in New York, and I think I don't know if he'll ever win I think it's always going to be a running back or a quarterback, but Jeremiah is going to be in New York waiting to see if his name gets called this year.
All right.
And he's going to win a Biletnikoff. So.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so this one's kind of a fun one here, Heather. We're even though the weather isn't good outside,
it's not good outside right now. It's like flipping fall.
Right, we got rain all day today. I know.
Yeah, we've had rain for like 412 days in a row.
That is a downside of
Northeast Ohio. Yeah.
But all right, so summer fun, beach or pool?
Oh, beach.
Okay. You don't mind the sand that lingers for years in your car.
No, I don't mind the sand that lingers in my car. I don't want my sand in places that I don't want sand in. But that's why you put a towel down. That's why you have a chair. That's why you walk the beach. I don't go in the ocean. But I love me some beach. No, I won't.
So now
there's things in the ocean that want to kill me. I will not go in the ocean.
You ever notice you look down, you're like, oh, there's some fish swimming around here.
Right. Jellyfish may not want to kill you, but they want to fight. They choose violence.
Thankfully, I have not witnessed that, although
I have.
Oh,
I've
that's
seen someone get stung by a jellyfish. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's like excruciating. It looked excruciating, and I want no part of it.
You mean it's not like going jellyfishing with Patrick and SpongeBob?
I do love Patrick and SpongeBob.
Right. Not a Krusty Krab.
I was a Krusty Krab this morning. I'm tired. I haven't gotten no sleep, so I was Krusty Krab.
So, all right. So then if you had to choose between a water park or amusement park?
Amusement. Fun little fact about me that I used to be embarrassed about, but I'm not embarrassed about it anymore, is I don't know how to swim.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I love it. That's why we're friends. I used to be really embarrassed about it, but
yeah. Oh my God.
Yes, stepping on coral. It does. It can grow inside you. And it's like little knives trying to stab you. So things in the ocean want to kill you. No thank you.
Nature, you scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, amusement park. I don't swim.
Yeah, neither do I. I'm not a big swimmer.
I'll go in the pool. But yeah.
I can survive.
Correct. I can too. I'm not scared of it. Just you're not going to get me underwater.
All right. So is it just me? When you go on vacation, because you just mentioned liking beach versus pool, do you like having a lot of activities planned and things to do and see, or do you like doing I'm going to go to a beach and I'm going to go out in the morning and chill and I'm not really doing anything. I'm just going to chill all day.
Okay. So it depends. It depends on the time of the year, and it depends on where I'm going, obviously. So obviously I love Disney, but you would be shocked. You would actually be shocked. I'm more of a go with the flow kind of person. When I go to Disney, we are not getting up in the morning and opening the parks, and we are not staying until it closes down and coming back to the room. We are getting up whenever we get up. We're going to go to the parks for a couple of hours. We're going to come back to the room. We're going to chill at the pool. We're going to drink a little or a lot, and we're going to eat really good food. And then maybe we'll go back to the park, and then we're going to go to downtown Disney or Disney Springs, whatever it's called now.
Right.
And then we're going to drink some more. And that's the same thing with the beach. Like, we're going to go to the beach, maybe we'll find some event to do or whatever, but I like a mix. I like if I want to chill and do nothing and rot by the pool, then I'm going to do that. If I want to go find something to do, then I'm going to do that too. So I like it to be a mix.
Okay, that's fair. I always
feel like you.
See, my wife would probably prefer a staycation.
Oh, no. I've never taken a staycation ever. Fun fact too, I've never taken a staycation in my life, and I never will.
Right. I always figure I have limited time to take off. I am going to do something with my time. If I wanted to
Correct.
sit at home,
I could just sit at home. I could just sit at home after work.
Exactly. Right. I'm not taking paid time off just to sit at home.
No.
It drives me bonkers.
I'm bored. I get bored.
I've got to do something.
Well, and then I work at home and I'm salary. So if I'm home with my computer and my email is ping, 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 I'm going to end up getting on my laptop and just answering my emails. So
I don't quite have it that bad.
I do.
You know, well,
that's partly my fault too, though. So I digress.
It's a blessing and curse to be salaried and work at home. I work at home, not the salaried portion.
Yeah.
But, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I just am like, I want to go.
Oh, no, I want to go somewhere.
I want to go somewhere. And I like having things or activities to do.
Yeah.
And I
like a mix. I definitely like them. I'm not going to sit and do nothing, but I'm definitely going to, I don't feel the need to go like constantly from sun up to sundown either.
Exactly. It's amazing how things change as you get older and your preferences about what they quote unquote, what vacations look like, what, everything of that nature. It's just all part of life and such. So,
yep.
Wow. So we've got, we got hockey conference finals. We got NBA conference finals. We got the women's softball World Series. There is going to be a lot going on. We will have a lot more to talk about.
Lots next week. Lots of final closing out some things and figuring out the NBA finals. We're going to know. Right.
Now, what is it saying? Every ending is another beginn's end.
Every new beginning is something. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at
beginnings and
all
I remember. Did you watch The Real World when semifinal closing time was like the song they kept?
I'm gonna have to every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
There it is. There it is. Oh.
Oh no, Mike! I'm not even going to look at these mock Cavs trades because I'm super duper sick of hearing about Giannis. There was one that I looked at that said Evan Mobley, and I'm like, you lost me at Evan Mobley. I'm not going to look at this ever again. So everybody again creating stories where there are no stories, and we can talk about once we know who the finals, maybe we can talk about some potential trade landing spots But it's all conjecture at this point.
It really is. And I've noticed, did you see Bruce Thornton, I think, took his name out of the draft, is headed back to the Buckeyes.
Is he?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's a good idea because there was no interest.
Right.
I like that college basketball does that, where you could test the waters and see, and then you can go back. So
yeah, I think it'll be that all in due time. Lots of interesting stuff coming up here. So I think we've said it all and then some here.
We've said a lot. You guys got to know us a little bit, got to hear a little bit about the sports world, and
don't invite us to a pool party where you expect us to swim.
Correct. We'll bring the food. We'll dip our toes in. I'll get in a raft. But
yes.
You don't want anything else. No lifeguard on duty.
Right. I will specifically ask for a Mai Tai and not a pina colada and no grains of salt.
Strawberry daiquiri, double fist strawberry daiquiri or vodka and lemonade.
Right. And then if you don't get my order right, I might have to put strychnine in the guacamole.
Right.
I can shut this place down.
Right. I'll end this party. We're done. On that note, we're going to end this party now. So thank you guys so much for joining us as usual. Please give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. Follow us. Please follow us on X. Follow Ethan. Follow me. Ethan, you want to close us out?
Yes, absolutely. Folks, again, thank you all for joining us. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, everything of that nature. Also follow all the great programs on the Fanatical Elves Network. Got a lot of good stuff coming up here from the Johnny Cleveland and Stirring the Pot with Lou and Johnny Cleveland, John Suchin, all kinds of good stuff. So stay tuned for all of that. So, Heather, and with that, I will bid you adieu. For Heather, I'm Ethan. You've been tuned in to the best doggone podcast in the land. here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a part of Fan First Sports Network. Good night.